Hello everyone, Medic Level Up here. We're back again with another video. Today's video is going to be the second part of ECG interpretation. We're going to do ECGs 11 through 20.
Now, shall we begin?
We're going to use the 14 things that we're used to. I want you guys to pause on every ECG, and when you're done interpreting, move on to the explanation of the ECG. So this is a gentleman in his 60s who came in with palpitations. So normal standardization, 150 rate, regular, no P waves, but you can see that the P waves in V1 were running at a rate of 250 to 300 beats. It was a narrow complex. So let's take a look at all of these important things. You can see upright P waves over here if you march them with calipers. And then you can see a 2-to-1 pattern over here. So this is atrial flutter with 2-to-1 block. So a lady in her 80s who came in with chest pain and syncope. This is the ECG. So normal standardization, bradycardic at a rate of 38 beats per minute. And you can see a broad QRS complex with a right bundle branch block morphology. See some ST depression and ST elevation as well. So this was actually a idioventricular rhythm with severe triple vessel disease. This ECG is taken from a person in his 70s. Both ECGs are taken only 10 seconds apart. So variation of rate from severe bradycardia to normal rate. So we're going to go through all the 14 things that we know that we need to look for in an ECG. And then we're going to focus on the most important things. You can see the P waves here in the first ECG. So this was a 6 sinus syndrome. Let's take a look at the next one. Pause and interpret. So it's pretty much something like that. So now we're going to try and describe what Jerry felt when he was caught by Tom. So rate of 106 beats per minute with a broad complex QRS, same morphology throughout. And the only differential that's possible now is a ventricular tachycardia. Let's look at the next ECG. So this is a Holter, pause and interpret. So we're going to do another thing with this ECG. We're going to try and label the P waves with yellow. We're going to try and label the conducted P waves with the blue. And we're going to label the missed P waves with the red. So this was actually a Mobitz 2-to-1 block. So this is a person who was feeling intermittent palpitations. What do you see? So we're going to go through all of those 14 things again. Rate more than 100 beats per minute with more than 3 premature ventricular contractions. So quite a lot going on in this ECG, but you need to focus on what's important for the rhythm interpretation. So this is the definition of a non-sustained ventricular tachycardia. And then you can see an example from this previous ECG that we just interpreted. So let's go towards the next ECG. This is a 57-year-old man with palpitations. So normal standardization with a ventricular rate bang on 150 beats and an atrial rate of 300 beats per minute. You could have seen a sawtooth appearance of the baseline, which is very typical for flutter. So I assume we know what the diagnosis is already. So we'll take a look at these flutter waves here. This is a clockwise flutter. Atrial flutter with 2 to 1 block. So let's look at this other ECG, which was a 21-year-old gentleman with intermittent palpitations and an episode of syncope as well. So we're going to interpret this using our 14 key features of an ECG. The most important thing was the fact that there was a right bundle appearance with a coved ST segment in V1 and V2. So we're going to focus on those two things. And the diagnosis becomes that of a Brugada syndrome.
Now that's power.
Tell me about it. I just hear that name and I shudder.
Mufasa.
Ooh. Do it again.
Mufasa.
Ooh.
Mufasa. Mufasa. Mufasa.
Ooh, it tingles me.
I'm surrounded by idiots.
So let's take a look at the other ECG now. So you've got a very fast rhythm going on right here. This is a pregnant lady who came in because of her heart racing that her Apple Watch picked up. So you've got a rate of 187 beats per minute, absent P waves, and the QRS complex was less than 0.12 seconds, which makes it a narrow complex regular tachycardia. And based on that, your differential is going to be a supraventricular tachycardia. So this is the last ECG that we've got today. Pause and interpret. So you've got normal standardization. There was a huge amount of variation in the rate, and it was an irregular rhythm as well. The QRS was definitely a broad one, and there was variation in the morphology as well. So we're going to focus on those things, and we're going to come to a diagnosis of, let's see. So you've got irregular broad variation in rate, the short refractory period, that's AF with Wolff Parkinson White.
Gary, quit it. You're gonna start a howl.
I didn't start it.
Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and have a good day.